And I gotta ask, I know this might sound like a crazy question, but we saw the Papoose tattoo, so I gotta ask, is there a goat tattoo? I gotta ask.
Stay tuned.
Uh-oh, stay tuned. That's what's up.
Keep your eyes on
The boxing world holds its breath, a realm of disciplined power and brutal grace. But sometimes, the real knockout blow lands outside the ring. Not on canvas, but on the raw, exposed nerves of public life. Imagine a champion, fierce and undefeated in her arena, a titan of pugilistic prowess, stepping into a battlefield far more treacherous, the tangled web of a celebrity love triangle. What happens when raw ambition, a public declaration of devotion, and a past forged in fire collide in the glaring spotlight of digital scrutiny? This isn't just a story about a tattoo. It's a high-stakes drama unfolding in real time, pulling back the curtain on obsession, loyalty, and the explosive consequences when hearts and reputations, meticulously built over years, hang precariously in the balance. Every move is scrutinized, every whisper amplified, creating a narrative that feels less like casual gossip and more like a pivotal chapter in a sprawling, unpredictable saga. If you're ready to uncover the full extent of this shocking chronicle, to delve into the motivations and machinations behind the headlines, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the lives of the famous and infamous, and let us know in the comments if you've ever witnessed a celebrity romance ignite quite like this, with such unbridled intensity and such potentially catastrophic implications. It all began with a ripple, then a seismic tremor that shook the very foundations of the celebrity gossip universe. The indomitable Claressa Shields, a name synonymous with grit, glory, and an almost superhuman drive, was preparing for yet another defining moment in her career. A weigh-in, a ritualistic display of physical perfection before battle. Her body, a sculpted testament to years of grueling training, of sacrifices made in pursuit of unparalleled excellence, was on full display. But it was not the sheer athleticism that captivated the cameras this time. Dressed in what appeared to be a high-fashion, strategically cut bodysuit, a garment designed to reveal as much as it concealed, she made a deliberate, undeniable statement. Peeking from beneath the curve of her breast, etched permanently onto her skin, a name materialized, Papoose. This wasn't just any name. It was the name of a man famously, if tumultuously, married to another undisputed titan of the music world, Remy Ma. The image, even when softened by the necessary censorship protocols for public platforms, screamed a single, provocative question that echoed across social media. What on earth was this woman thinking? This wasn't a private, intimate gesture of affection. It was a brazen, public claim, a bold declaration of ownership over a man who, by all accounts, was still legally, unequivocally, bound by the solemn vows of matrimony to another. The sheer audacity of it left audiences stunned, prompting an immediate, collective gasp of disbelief that transcended the usual boundaries of celebrity fascination. Claressa Shields, it seemed, was not merely smitten. She was consumed by a force that appeared to defy logic, driven by a passion that bordered on the irrational. Her every action, every public utterance, spoke of a woman utterly captivated, moving with the unbridled intensity and unwavering conviction of someone experiencing the dizzying heights of first love, perhaps even an unshakable belief that this connection, against all odds, was her destined path. To truly grasp the gravity of this unfolding drama, to understand the roots of such fervent devotion, we must rewind to a pivotal moment in July of 2024. The setting was an electrifying fight night, an atmosphere charged with adrenaline and anticipation. Papoose, known for his calm, collected demeanor, his lyrical prowess within the cutthroat world of hip-hop, approached Claressa not with a swagger or the pretense of star, but with the quiet respect of a true admirer. A simple handshake, a few genuine words of fan appreciation, and an invisible spark ignited between them. She, the formidable boxing champion, extended an invitation. VIP tickets to her upcoming Detroit fight, a seemingly innocuous gesture that quickly morphed into something far more significant. The digital breadcrumbs led to a series of DMs, an exchange of private messages that paved the way for a relationship that would soon engulf them all, and the public, in a maelstrom of inescapable scrutiny and sensational headlines. This wasn't just a burgeoning romance. It was the prologue to a saga that would redefine the boundaries of celebrity entanglement. The irony, sharp and undeniably poignant, cuts deepest when you consider the enduring, complex marital bond between Papoose and Remy Ma. They are separated, yes, physically apart, maintaining separate residences, but legally, unequivocally, they remain husband and wife. Their union, a narrative spanning well over 2 decades, was cemented by a wedding in 2008, a bond that had not only weathered the tumultuous storms of the music industry, but had also, remarkably, endured Remy's years behind bars. This complicated foundation, already burdened by an intricate history, cracked further in 2023. That year, news broke, sending shockwaves through their carefully curated public image of Remy Ma's infidelity with another figure in the hip-hop scene, Easy the Block Captain. Papoose's response was swift and telling. A public purge of Remy's images from his Instagram account. A silent yet powerfully symbolic declaration of war that has reverberated through their shared universe ever since. The subsequent 2-year dalliance between Remy and Easy, too, eventually flickered out, leaving an open wound in the core of the Papoose-Remy marriage, a void that Claressa Shields, with an almost startling eagerness, has now seemingly stepped into, oblivious to, or perhaps defiant of the unhealed scars that linger. But this isn't merely a tale of a new romance blossoming from the ashes of an old one. The narrative is far more intricate, imbued with layers of pre-existing conflict. Claressa Shields and Remy Ma already shared a contentious history. 2 strong personalities, formidable in their respective crafts, who had clashed before, their past interactions marked by veiled jabs and thinly disguised animosity. Their mutual dislike, rather than serving as a deterrent, only served to pour gasoline on an already volatile fire, escalating the stakes to unprecedented levels. Papoose, for his part, has publicly claimed years of relentless attempts to sever his legal ties with Remy, often painting her as a narcissist and a primary impediment to his long-sought freedom. Yet for all his impassioned pronouncements, the divorce papers remain conspicuously ensigned, the legal ties, binding and irrefutable, stubbornly unbroken. This protracted legal limbo, a constant elephant in the room, casts a long shadow over any new relationship Papoose attempts to forge. And Claressa? Her public declarations paint a picture of a woman utterly enthralled. She speaks of Papoose as if he were the very architect of her world, as if he literally hung the moon, describing him as her best friend, a source of unwavering support unlike anything she's ever known or experienced. In her own words, delivered with a brimming earnestness that borders on unreserved adoration, she has praised his keen intelligence, his profound humility, and of course, his undisputed lyrical prowess within the rap game. But her declarations, astonishingly, didn't stop at mere romantic adoration. The plans, articulated with a startling certainty and an almost casual confidence, painted a vivid future of domesticity, of a shared life far beyond the fleeting nature of celebrity romance. "I'm gonna have a baby next year," she proclaimed, the words hanging in the air with a prophetic weight. "We already have it planned out. And then after I go through my stuff, then I'll come back and fight some more. And then probably have another one. And then do the same thing again." These meticulously laid plans, these grand dreams of a future family, were, by all accounts, hinged entirely on a man who was, by the immutable decree of law, still unequivocally bound to another. The sheer audacity of these pronouncements, made without the fundamental prerequisite of a dissolved marriage, sparked a wave of bewilderment and concern among observers. This is precisely where the story takes a truly perplexing and potentially tragic turn. Is Papoose genuinely committed to Claressa? Perhaps, in his heart, he believes he is. But 21 years with Remy Ma, a relationship that has endured the fierce test of time, the harsh realities of a prison sentence, and the unforgiving glare of the public eye, is not a bond easily erased or casually discarded. Regardless of their mutual accusations, the blame shifting, and the labyrinthine excuses, the irrefutable fact remains: the divorce has not happened. This legal technicality, often dismissed as a mere formality, is, in this context, a towering, insurmountable obstacle. How can one confidently build a future, meticulously planned for the arrival of children, when the very foundation of that future is still legally and emotionally tethered to a 2-decade-long past? The public whispers, fueled by the very nature of celebrity gossip, suggest Papoose pins the blame squarely on Remy for holding up the divorce proceedings, a familiar refrain in such convoluted, high-profile sagas. But experienced observers, those who have witnessed the intricate dance of long-term celebrity relationships, understand a deeper, more profound truth. 20 years builds an almost unbreakable, invisible chain, a history so deeply interwoven that disentangling it becomes a monumental, often impossible task. The echoes of a shared life, a collective history, linger long after affection may have waned. The stakes, already perched precariously high, are about to be raised to an almost unbearable tension. There's a chilling, confident prediction circulating among those watching this drama unfold. A dark prophecy whispered with knowing glances. Should Papoose ever, for any reason, leave Claressa? Should he, by some shocking, unexpected twist of fate, reconcile with Remy Ma, a possibility many within their inner circles believe is not only plausible, but perhaps inevitable? Claressa Shields will not merely be heartbroken. She will crash out. This isn't just about emotional devastation, about the tearing of a personal dream. This is about a champion, a woman who has known nothing but absolute victory, who has dominated her professional life with an almost frightening resolve, facing a defeat of monumental, soul-crushing personal scale. The warnings from those familiar with her fierce temperament are stark and unequivocal. If Papoose leaves Claressa, this girl is going to lose her mind. Imagine the raw, untamed ferocity of a two-time Olympic gold medalist, a multi-division world champion, a force of nature in the boxing ring, unleashed not against a trained opponent, but in the chaotic, unforgiving arena of a public scandal fueled by betrayal. He'd better watch himself. The whispers caution, laced with a mix of genuine concern and morbid fascination, because she could fight. Him and Remy gonna have to seek shelter. At 30 years old, Claressa's decision to etch a married man's name onto her body suggests a profound, almost desperate vulnerability, an almost teenage impulsiveness that stands in stark contrast to her formidable, disciplined exterior. It raises the chilling question: is her emotional foundation as solid as her physical prowess? And then, the conflicting narratives, like opposing forces, begin to collide, creating a whirlwind of public opinion. Are critics of Claressa merely projecting their own insecurities, their own past traumas? Are they mad because y'all got y'all man took before? Is the vitriol directed at her simply a manifestation of jealousy? Jealousy of her unwavering confidence, her undeniable success, her perceived happiness with Papoose? Her journey from the impoverished streets of Flint, Michigan, from absolute rock bottom to the dizzying heights of Olympic glory and championship belts, is an undeniable testament to her resilience and sheer will. It's a Cinderella story, a narrative of triumph against all odds. But her actions in this intensely personal sphere, some argue, with a palpable sense of disappointment, threaten to overshadow even her monumental, hard-won accomplishments, tainting her legacy with the brushstroke of questionable judgment. The counter-argument, however, delivered with equal fervor and a healthy dose of exasperation, paints a picture of stark, almost willful delusion. I would chew rocks and swallow them before I would ever speak publicly about a man that is still married, that has yet to sign divorce papers that's been filed for months. One commentary erupted, capturing the sentiment of many. I would eat literal cow manure before I would go on somebody's app saying I'm about to have a family with this married man that got kids my freaking age. This perspective, delivered with biting sarcasm, dismisses Claressa's declarations not just as naive, but as pure fantasy, a deeply embarrassing public spectacle playing out for all to see. Remy Ma, it's suggested with a knowing smirk, views this entire charade not with anger or despair, but with a cynical amusement, perhaps even a quiet cackling awareness. She has known this man, Papoose, since Claressa was a child, a stark generational divide that underscores the depth of their shared history. Their bond, forged over decades through trials and triumphs, runs far deeper, far more intrinsically than any recent tattoo or public declaration. It's a history that cannot be erased by fleeting infatuation. The boxing community itself, typically unified in its reverence for champions, finds itself sharply divided on the issue. Some, acknowledging Claressa's age and her stated desire for a family, understand her yearning for commitment, even if the timing and circumstances seem undeniably reckless. They see a woman yearning for a life beyond the ring, a desire that perhaps overshadows practical concerns. Others, however, deliver a brutal dose of reality, a cold splash of water on the flames of romance. Is Papoose even divorced? Are you making plans with a man that ain't divorced? The unspoken thread, a chilling undercurrent beneath the surface of the drama, lingers for Papoose. All I can say is Pap better come through with them promises. Better not be no broken promises, cause did you see her fist? That good fist bigger than both her and Pap's fist put together. All I can say is, Pap, just run. Get on out of Dodge, Pap. That's all I can tell you. It's a grim warning delivered with the gravity of a true friend. The drama, far from subsiding, escalates further, drawing in more threads of this intricate tapestry. Was Remy Ma truly a victim in her own shenanigans, or merely reaping what she sowed? The narrative of her infidelity with Easy the Block Captain sparked public outrage. And when Papoose discovered her transgression, he reportedly took matters into his own hands, confronting Easy directly. Yet now, with Claressa entering the fray, with her bold claims and public declarations, suddenly the collective narrative shifts. Claressa, the savage with those hands, the undisputed force of nature, ironically becomes the problem in the eyes of many. Are the critics, then, attempting to dismantle a happy home, unwilling to witness a successful, powerful woman find love and happiness? Is it pure malice, a desire to see her fail outside the ring? Yet, the final, most cutting blow, delivered with the weight of unassailable truth, circles back to the fundamental reality that no amount of public declarations, no amount of deeply etched, tattooed devotion can alter the legal and emotional reality of an existing marriage. The question echoes, persistent and unsettling.
Does Claressa Shields know that Papoose is married? I mean, I'm not trying to tussle, because I know my girl like to do her 1-2-1-2. But she's on podcast talking about having babies next year with a married man. And it's concerning.
Remy Ma, somewhere, might indeed be rubbing her fuzzy socks together, cackling with a quiet, knowing satisfaction. She holds a unique position, an understanding forged over 2 decades, knowing that a single phone call, a decisive legal move, could potentially unravel Claressa's entire carefully constructed future, leaving it in tatters. Because while Claressa Shields might be an unparalleled champion in the ring, a master of physical combat, out here in the messy, unforgiving world of love, relationships, and public scrutiny, she might just be getting her tail hooped. And the most shocking, heartbreaking twist of all? For all her unparalleled strength, her formidable power, and her unblemished professional record, in this particular fight, against this particular unseen opponent, the weight of history and legal obligation, she might be dangerously, tragically, out of her depth, destined for a public humiliation that could eclipse any defeat she could ever suffer in her professional boxing career. The final bell, it seems, has yet to ring.